Welcome to Commander's Daily, everybody. It's your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. I'm Bob Matthews. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of our coverage. Commanders get absolutely rolled in Dallas on Sunday night. There is no way to sugarcoat it. It was bad, and it was bad pretty much from the jump. Final score 44-22. Washington now 3-4 on the year, and it does not get any easier from here on out. Kansas City next Monday on Monday Night Football, and then it's games at home against Seattle and Detroit before the trip to Madrid for the game with the Dolphins. That's about the only break on their schedule. I mean, at this point, we are looking at a definite possibility. This team could be 3-7 and riding like a 5-game losing streak going overseas. I mean, it is conceivable. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's conceivable. They were beaten in all three phases today. Dan Quinn, at his post-game press conference, literally the first thing he said when he got up to the podium was injuries did not lose this game for us, execution did. So he was not about to blame the fact that the Commanders were without their top three receivers. Then Jaden Daniels in the second half. We'll get to that in a second. I think he's got a point because they had to play almost mistake-free complementary football without Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, and Deebo Samuel in the lineup today, and they didn't do it. I mean, you just look down the stat sheet at Dallas's offense. I mean, I know it's good and everything, but they let Dak Prescott go 21-30 for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. They let Javonte Williams run for 116 yards. This is a team that's been pretty stout against the run the last couple of weeks. They let CeeDee Lamb torch him for 110 yards, his first game back after being out with an ankle. And then George Pickens added another 82, tight end Jake Ferguson, a couple of touchdown catches. I mean, it just all around was just a horrid performance. And you just can't have that. Again, I understand, when you've got 3 guys, your top 3 guys in the wide receiver room not playing, that puts a lot of pressure on your running game, which just didn't do the job. I mean, you take out Jaden's 35 yards, they only had 101 total yards of rushing, and that includes 34 for Marcus Mariota when he came in to play quarterback. Corey Krosky-Merritt only had 33 yards on the ground on 13 carries. Jeremy McNichols, 22 on a couple of carries, and Chris Rodriguez, 12 yards on 3 carries. So again, there's not a whole lot you can do. Beyond that, they've just got to play better. I understand what Quinn was saying about execution. I mean, in the first half alone, you had quite a few balls that Jaden just completely missed his receivers, and then you had quite a few more that Jaden put right on target that the receivers just missed. Zach Ertz had a couple of drops. Jalen Lane had a couple of drops. I'm going to be really interested to watch the tape later on today because I think it's going to tell an even more interesting story than we saw watching the game live. All right, let's get to Jaden now. If you missed it, and I seriously doubt any of you guys did, but in the third quarter, that first series of the third quarter, Jaden was hit, sacked, fumbled, and injured his right hamstring. You saw him go off the field. He didn't come back from the locker room. After the game, Dan Quinn said that Jaden wanted to come back in the game. Mike Florio reported that they don't think, medical team doesn't think that it's that serious, but he's going to have an MRI on it tomorrow, and hopefully Monday afternoon, Dan Quinn will give us a little bit more information. Now, I'm not going to hold my breath on that because this coaching staff, when it comes to injuries, really likes to do a lot of obfuscating, for whatever reason. Don't think, even if we get a semi-optimistic report on later on today, that, Jaden Daniels is completely out of the woods. I would have to think they're going to say that he's day-to-day. They'll have to see after treatment on Monday and Tuesday how he plays, practice-wise on Wednesday, and if they can ramp him up on Thursday. Keep an eye out for the phrase return to play. If you don't hear that, I think that'll be pretty good news that he's just kind of going along and it wasn't anything too serious. But I don't think we're going to know probably until next weekend what's truly, truly going on with Jaden. Now, as for the defense, I guess those stats that I was quoting there pretty much shows you that the defense was just plain bad. And it's really a shame because I think like I wrote in my article, it's up on sportsjourney.com right now. Dallas's brand of football just isn't sustainable. I mean, the Cowboys are not going to win 10, 11, 12 games having to score 40 points a week. That's just not sustainable. But they laid the wood to Washington yesterday. And amongst, I think, the more, the more egregious performances, hate to say it, but Marshawn Lattimore, man, look, you've either got to make a move there or you've got to coach him up better. So I don't know how much of it falls on Lattimore, how much of it falls on Joe Witt and the defensive staff. But Lattimore was awful. He was, and you can see that Dallas's passing game was going right after him. 8 targets. He gave up 5 receptions on those 8 targets for 82 yards, 27 yards after the catch. Quan Martin allowed 42 yards after the catch. That's just not going to get it done. Bottom line, they credited Martin, PFF did, with the 74-yard pass play from I guess it was Pickens, the one right before the half that went for the touchdown, and then Lattimore was credited with giving up a 44-yard pass play. That's not good enough. It's just obviously not good enough, and they've got to do something to shore up that back end. Because if you think Patrick Mahomes isn't going to go after him with Rashid Rice and everybody else that he's got available to him, I think you're mistaken. Let's just leave it at that. And again, there's not a whole lot they can do. Yeah, they've got the roster that they've got. They've made their bed. They got to sleep in it now. So if that is coaching them up more, if it's using a different scheme, whatever it is, what they're doing right now isn't working. And they really need to, they're going to have to figure something out. Same way on offense. Cliff Kingsbury's got to make some adjustments too. I think defenses are seeing that if you play man-to-man on the Commanders' receivers, that's the way to, that's the way to minimize Jaden Daniels as much as possible. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the week. But, as of right now, there is a lot that they have to work on. And Dan Quinn said as much. He said they dug themselves into this hole. They got to get themselves out. And like I said, no easier. Coming up a week from today, as they go to Kansas City to play the Chiefs, you know that Arrowhead is going to be rocking. They are going to be facing the best quarterback in the league, as far as I am concerned, in Patrick Mahomes. The 3-time defending AFC champions and Super Bowl champions 2 out of the last 3 years. It's, this isn't going to be an easy one. And the Chiefs have now won 2 straight and look like they are getting things together. So how they do it, I don't know. I tell you what, if Terry McLaurin is 85 or 90%, they need to get him back in the lineup really fast. And hopefully Jaden will be able to play. We will find out more about that later in the week. So don't forget, like and subscribe. And your homework assignment, if you want to take us up on it, drop us a comment. What were your impressions of the game? What needs to change, and did anything actually work? Be back tomorrow with some film study. Again, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.